Airport, New York, June 16, 1949. Dad has been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking a long time for him to come through customs, but I know he's there because, there he is right there. Dad.
Paulie! Oh, Paulie, a friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference. But she'll be home tonight.
Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they had this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane, like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage, looking for communist propaganda, I presume, with the FBI hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad. Since your Paris speech, it seems everybody's gunning for you.
That's right. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans?
She's great, Dad, but we'll talk about that later, on the way home. There's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through. You say nothing, and I'll tell them that.
Say nothing, Paulie? Say nothing?
Dad.
What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me? You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
So, come on, let's face the goddamn press. Okay. Bring Shola back in. Or should we just do it again?
I guess we could do it again. Or should we go to scene 5?
No, I think we
just do it again.
We should do it again. There's one or two things.
Got it.
Now, I have a feeling you're using draft 3.
Yes. Is there a draft 4?
Yes, there is.
Got it.
I did email it. Shall I email it again?
Let me check. Yeah, can you send that again, please?
All right.
For some reason, it's not in my email.
Well, Charlotte didn't get it either, so maybe it was a mistake at my end, but I don't think so, but it's beginning to look like that.
So I think the useful thing is maybe after this recording that you send it out to everybody again, because it will impact tomorrow. It might be that you wrote the email and didn't attach the script to it, which is something that can happen sometimes. But once you have it, I thought that there was a lovely flow between the two of you. But what we need is just that little space of so that we don't overlap and clash, but we overlap with space. Yeah?
Okay.
So we'll find those moments when we're ready.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have it now, Mark?
It was attached.
Just got a new email. Draft 4. Got it.
So while Mark is looking at that, so Tayo, being mindful on that note that I gave you a little bit earlier, don't sound tired. You tend to sigh as you start the speech, and that kind of makes it sound like that he's weary.
Okay.
So focus in that first bit on just the joy of seeing your son. Yeah. So that she's in Cleveland. But she'll be home tonight. Let that just have a beat in it. I'm sorry you had to wait, son. Yeah. And then it's a new energy. It's a new thought. First, we have this guard and everything like this, almost like an adventure. Let's keep it a little bit upbeat. First of all, here I am, this one man, and they had to have all of this stuff going on. Do you know? So let's have that. So Mark, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So those bits that I said about overlapping, and even that bit at the end, it's not saying it's like something that you've said before, so it should be in unison, that bit at that last section at the end. And just leave the space, Tayo, for him to jump in and for you to finish your lines.
Yeah. Can we, I wonder, can we just try that, just in case there is a sort of synchronization problem?
Okay.
To be sure that there isn't one.
No, yeah, I'm not sure that there was. I think it was maybe you both didn't have the same script. So she's great, Dad. Can you go from, let's see, can you go from, yeah. How's Marilyn?
Okay.
No, let's go from Paulie. Well, you certainly caused a stir, okay? Because after Europe, first he called a stir in Europe from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
You jump in with "you don't say," and then Mark. Since your Paris speech, it seems everyone's gunning for you. Do you see?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just making these edits on the.
I understand. That's fine. It's almost like an adventure between father and son, the two of you. There's so many things that are going on, you just know. And obviously later on we're going to get into the more serious personal impact of what this has on Paulie's life, which is the whole wedding thing and the whole racism thing as well, in terms of their relationship, which then, of course, we pick up again with Ben later on.
Yep, I'm all set to go now.
Great. So do you want to just read that together, or do you think you're okay to kind of go through it? Just go for it.
Oh, the
overlap.
What did I the pop one?
Yeah, you got to be ready to take whatever's handed out.
Okay. What did I say Pop used to say? You got to take whatever's handed out. You got to be ready to take whatever's handed out.
So there's a yeah, Dad there, right, Sola?
Correct.
Yes, there is. So what I was saying is, Pop always used to say, yeah, Dad. Pop always used to say to me, yeah, Dad.
Got it.
You got to be ready to take whatever's handed out.
Yeah, do you see what I mean? It's got that kind of flow to it.
So what did I say Pop used to, where is it? What did I say Pop always used to say?
Yeah, Dad.
No, you have to finish off your sentence. Yeah. Pop always used to say to me, yeah, Dad.
Yeah.
So you're not waiting for him. Mark will just find that moment to come in with that.
Yeah.
And you literally carry on. Pop always used to say to me, yeah, Dad, you've got to be ready to take whatever. Do you see what I mean? So it's almost like it's a continual sentence for him. Yeah.
What did I always tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
Sorry.
Okay, so Mark, come in with it a little bit quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
not quicker still.
Okay, so what I'm looking for is as soon as he says say, come in with that yeah, Dad.
Okay.
Yeah, overlap it there. And then Tayo, just go straight into your next line. Thank you.
What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
Still a bit late, that was.
Yeah, but you need to carry on.
I know, okay.
Sorry about it. Just carry on.
What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
Okay.
So,
that's fine. You just get a sense of that together. Just the one before it. You say nothing. Say nothing, Paulie, and I'll tell them. So this is another one of those. So let's just have a quick look at that. I figure we just walk through. You say nothing. Say nothing, Paulie, and I'll tell them. Say nothing.
Say nothing.
Try and get that flow.
Okay.
You say nothing and
say nothing, Paulie.
And I'll tell them.
Say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
Okay, so, yeah. So it's the same flow there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and again, for it's the same. You say nothing and I'll tell them. Okay? And he's going to come in with his say nothing, Paulie's. Just finding the flow and rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have another go. And let's have another wonderful go at it. And let's just really get a sense of the joy of these, of a father and son. And the reason why this is also quite important is because it's quite clear early on that Paul Robeson Jr. is holding on to his father's legacy. And ultimately, that is what he does. So the fact that he is present, the fact that he was in Russia and educated and he's there to meet him, it's almost like he is holding on to his legacy. And he's like his right-hand person. So, and his advisor. So let's get that rhythm in there and that sense of that in there. Okay? Have a couple of goes. Can I ask you to this time to do it the first time, record it, take a beat, and then have another go. And then we'll move on. Okay? How does that sound, Mark?
Sounds good. Where are we starting?
Right from the top of the scene.
Cool.
We go all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Save that. And when you're both ready, have another go straight through.
Sounds great. Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, there he is right now. Dad!
Paulie! Friendly face at home. Sorry.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Okay, let's go back.
From the top?
I think you can go from he's been on tour.
Okay. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, there he is now. Dad.
Oh, Paulie. A friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference. But she'll be home tonight.
Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they have this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage looking for communist propaganda, I presume, with the FBI hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everyone's gunning for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans?
She's great, Dad. But we'll talk about that later. On the way home, there's a lot of press waiting for you. They're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through. You say nothing, and I'll tell them that.
Say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
So, come on. Let's face the goddamn press.
I'll start from the top again.
Okay, there is actually, I can hear there's a delay. Yeah, so that's, I get it now. There is yeah.
Yeah, there is one, definitely.
So David,
actually, what I don't know what you're talking about, because when you guys were speaking simultaneously, in what I heard was two loud and clear and nice sounding voices speaking simultaneously. So it was we are not having the same problems we were having with Zoom, as far as I can tell. The only echo, the delay, I don't hear any delay, but what I do hear is when you shouted Polly, there was a little echo, and the echo, I don't know even why that happened necessarily, but there was some technical reason that happened, but it could have happened in the airport too. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think that was so terrible. It can be edited out too.
Yeah. I also heard an echo somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So
I didn't hear any other echo other than when you yelled Polly.
So for instance, his year dad, I thought was late, but it probably wasn't.
No, it was late. I was late. That was my fault.
Okay, but yeah, but
okay.
Shala,
you're muted, and I can't unmute you.
Okay, thank you. Don't worry about the technical aspects of it, because I am waiting. If David thinks that there is something that we need to adjust, he will tell us. Right. Just focus on the performance and focus on that follow through, because obviously one of the challenges of doing this in different places is that we hear things slightly differently. So like David, I mean, I heard the pop, that little echo, but I didn't hear a problem with the simultaneous talking. If there is something, it's because you think that there is, and so therefore one is slowing it down.
I'll tell you what, shall we do a little experiment? Mark and I count 1 to 10 and see what happens together. I'll start and you join in at 3, just to satisfy what I think I'm hearing.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah,
8,
you're right.
9, 10.
Microsecond delay for sure.
Right.
That's for sure. That's real.
Okay.
I don't know why. If it's, I don't know why it's happening, or if there's anything I can do about it. But that's I hadn't heard it, and that's definitely going to be messing you guys up in terms of these tight timing kind of things, like what Shallow is trying to do with you. Yeah. That's wow.
Okay, so if that's the case, and if that's really too difficult now with that, I mean, if you're aware of it and you think that you can manage it, if you can't, let's just read it as it is. If that's helpful.
No, now that I know that it is there and it's not my,
you're not crazy.
I'll just carry on. Yes. Okay. So let's just do it again. Now that we both know that it's happening, I will just soldier on. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So so again, wonderful. Let's just try again. And this time again, now that we know that, let's just do 2 clean takes, one after another with a break. And then I think we should have it in the can, so to speak.
All right. Okay.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taken him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, there he is now. Dad, Dad.
Paulie! A friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
I could see it. Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference. But she'll be home tonight.
Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they had this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs searched every corner of my baggage, looking for communist propaganda, I presume, with the FBI hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everybody's gunning for you.
That's right. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans going?
She's great, Dad, but we'll talk about that later. On the way home, there's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through. You say nothing, and I'll just tell them to.
Say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
So, come on, let's face the goddamn press.
One more time from the top.
Yeah. Another question. You don't have headphones on?
I don't.
I think that might help. Do you have headphones? Am I right, David?
Yeah,
Because
that echo of your voice. I'm not sure whose speaker that was coming through, but it must have been coming through Mark's speaker. So if Mark had headphones, that would eliminate that problem. But make sure they're headphones that don't have a mic in them, or if there's a mic in, we'll just figure out what's going on. If you do have headphones, we'll make sure that it's not changing things for the worse.
What part does the echo come through at?
I mean, we can't know when it's going to happen, because if you're not using if you're not using headphones, then it could randomly happen anytime potentially, because there's echo cancellation going on with the software StreamYard, but it's not perfect, and sometimes if you're not wearing headphones, then echoes don't get canceled.
I don't have headphones that plug directly into my computer. I only have Apple headphones.
And then, so they don't, yeah, okay. So then, but I think that I think the recorded version of it will just have, I don't know what's going to happen. I think we might have to, there might be a little editing of echoes that Adrian can also do, even if you don't have headphones. But
I think if it's not too challenging, let's not lose the momentum of the performance and worry about the technicalities. Let's just keep the momentum and do the two. I'd rather, if I ask for 2 recordings, do the 2 recordings and talk about it afterwards, so that you get the momentum of it, because that was actually a nice energy in there, and I wanted to capture that again. There'll always be little things, there are always technicalities, but let's stay in the process and leave the technicians to clean up as much as they can clean up. This is a process where, everybody having similar equipment, et cetera, will help later on. But right now, perfection is for God. We are mere mortals finding our way to be creative. So let's do that. Are you both happy? I would ask you, Mark, are you happy to have another shot at this, Tayo? Or are you happy to move on? Yeah, Mark?
I'll do another shot, definitely.
Yeah, and I just want us to keep the momentum. Let's not worry about the technical things now that we know about the delay and all of those kind of things. Yeah.
Tayo, do you have any quick feedback for me?
Um, I, I okay, let me ask through the director. I'm just wondering something. I'm just wondering about the narration. Whether, Shola, you think it could be a bit more subdued? Because when I was writing these, I was picturing in my head that a lot of the narration would in fact be more or less very conversational and almost whispered.
I think that's fine to try it that way. I was really kind of trying to, if you like, leave the flow of it and hear what you were bringing to the process. But as the writer, yeah, I mean, Mark, why not just have an internal monologue for the beginning, and then as you see your father, bring it out.
Bring it to life.
So that's the first thing, and then if you're in an airport, that intimacy of conversation when you're talking about the wedding and everything, that's between the two of you. So have a little bit more of an intimacy, in terms of how that's related. I can be very specific with you if you would like. So I mean, I guess all your lines in a way. She's great, Dad. We'll talk about that later on the way home. Yeah, and then a different kind of energy. But there's a lot of press rating for you. Yeah, so yeah, just different shades and tones in that exchange. Does that help you a little bit?
Yeah, Mark? It does.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try this one then. With much more of an intimate, a little bit more of an intimate reflection at the beginning, and then you come into the scene, if you like, almost like a soliloquy or an aside, as we would in a play, and then here he is now. That bounces back into the scene, if you like. Yeah. And once again, can you do it twice, once after the other, so that you have the momentum of the scene? So you reflect now with this, and then you can, add to it as you have it, give it another shot. Tyre, once again, just try not to fall into the tired fatigue. Just keep that wonderful momentum in your voice of, don't play the irony and the tiredness. Play the joy of seeing your son and the complicity of, oh, here we go again. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, here he is now. Dad!
Paulie! A friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference. But she'll be home tonight.
Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First they have this guard of about 20 police waiting to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage, looking for communist propaganda, I presume, with the FBI hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everyone's gunning for you.
That's right. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans?
She's great, Dad, but we'll talk about that later. On the way home. There's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through. You say nothing, and I'll
Say
tell them
nothing,
that.
Paulie? Say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to
To
take
take
whatever's
whatever's handed
out.
out.
So, come on. Let's face the goddamn press.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, there he is now. Dad,
Paulie! A friendly face at last.
hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference, but she'll be home tonight.
Oh, sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they have this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage, looking for communist propaganda, I presume, and the FBI hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state or something now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everybody's gunning for you.
That's right. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans?
She's great, Dad, but we'll talk about that later, on the way home. There's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through. You say nothing, and I'll tell them that.
Nothing, Paulie? Say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
Whatever's handed out.
So, come on, let's face the goddamn press.
Well done. How does that feel for both of you? And David, how was that sound-wise?
When he shouts Polly, it still comes through in Mark's speakers, but I think that stuff can be cleaned up later when it's only occasional like that. Oh, you're muted, Shala.
Yeah, I thought it was really really rich. I'm beginning to feel the relationship. How is it for both of you, Mark time? Yeah, great. Now, bearing that in mind, it's Mark, as you were saying, the intimacy of the scene, I think, will come even more so when we get to the next section. So we're going to jump to when you're in the car, okay? So we're going to jump to how the wedding preparation's going. Do you need more money? Okay. So just really very intimate conversation between father and son. Do you want to just read it through once together, or do you want to read it through and record so that we kind of have a version in the back and we can learn from that? How do you feel?
Let's read it through and you give us feedback.
Are you good for that, Mark?
Yep.
Okay, off you go then. Thank you. Really intimate.
How are the wedding plans? How are the wedding preparations going? You need some more money?
They've changed, Dad. We're not using the church anymore.
What? Why? It's not off, is it?
No, Dad. It's just the congregation, they were against it.
Because of my speech? Oh, Polly, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, Dad. Reverend Dar is determined to help. He says he'll marry us in his apartment, just us, you, Mom, and Mrs. Greenberg.
What about Mr. Greenberg?
He's not coming.
Because of me?
No, Dad. Because of me. because I'm black.
Lord have mercy.
You're muted, Sola.
Oh, am I muted? Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I had just muted you just to sound cleaner.
Sorry?
I had just muted you while they were doing their lines for cleaner sound.
Okay. Yeah, and you told me you couldn't shut me up. You told me you couldn't mute me. Yeah. Okay, so I forgot to put myself on mute. Apologies for that. Okay, so yeah, really good. I think we've got a section here again where there can be some overlap and a little bit more time in the speech, in the exchange. Can you just read it for me, interweaving? So Tayo, you say your first line, how's the preparations going? And Mark, if you say they've changed, Dad, you need more money? No, we're not using the church anymore. What?
What? Why?
Why? Do you know what I mean? So more, yeah. And then the space of, what, have you broken up? No, you know, it's nothing to do with that. Do you see a more kind of like just finding your way through it?
Okay.
And so, and then this is a really interesting line, Tayo, here. Because of my speech, it kind of jars a little bit, so you have to find your way into it. It's almost like your brain is thinking about a number of things, and you can jump into this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because of my speech, Mark, you know, you could almost repeat, it's okay, Dad. Oh, Paulie, I'm so sorry, it's okay. You could almost jump in with it's okay in between there. It's okay, Dad. And then still have your line there, it's okay, Dad, Reverend Dar, and so forth. So it's just to kind of create a little bit more of a flow and a little bit space in between. I'm just going to ask you some questions in a moment. When we get to Mum and Mrs. Greenberg, almost throwaway, Tayo. Yeah, what about Mr. Greenberg? You know what I mean? Like, you know, is he sick, or is that, you know, is there something wrong? And then just a beat, Mark, before you say he's not coming. I mean, it's all there. It's just trying to just breathe a little bit of air into the scene. And then let that land, Tayo, before you say because of me.
Okay. And
then the same weight of that, which you had, Mark, but it just didn't land with Tayo at that point there. No, Dad, as you went on, because of me. And then leave that space there, just a beat. And then let that land again, Tayo, for Lord have mercy. However you want to put that. I just think it needs a bit of air.
Sure. Mark,
any thoughts on that?
That sounds good to me. I just want it to be as great as possible, so I'll do anything.
You are an amazing. I am so privileged to meet you. So it is already gorgeous, and the very fact that you are hovering behind that tarpaulin and blanket is just kind of divine. Yeah.
bearing the weight of the red blanket.
I know, it's really divine. So again, let's just take the weight of that and find this scene as you're trying for Paulie to try and tell his father. It's not easy for him to tell him that, yeah, no, it's not that we've broken up. Oh, no, it's not that. It's because of me. And how that lands with you and how that lands with Paul, because discrimination, that's what he's fighting against. And there's nothing worse than it affecting your own child. Okay? So let's just keep the intimacy of that. And once again, if you wouldn't mind, going through it, taking a moment, and then finding it again. Okay? Give yourself a second shot without interruption from anybody else, if you see what I mean. Just refine the scene afterwards. Okay. Thank you.
How are the wedding preparations going? You need some more money?
Can we start that again from the top?
Okay, yeah. How are the wedding preparations going?
They've changed, Dad.
You need some more money?
We're not using the church anymore.
What? Why? It's not off, is it?
No, Dad. It's just that the congregation, they were against it.
Because of my speech?
It's okay, Dad.
Oh, Polly, I'm so sorry.
I promise, it's okay, Dad. Reverend Dar is determined to help. He says he'll marry us in his apartment. Just us, you, Mom, and Mrs. Greenberg.
What about Mr. Greenberg?
He's not coming.
What? Because of me?
No, Dad. Because of me.
What?
Because I'm Black.
Lord have mercy. Okay, again. How are the wedding preparations going?
They've changed, Dad.
You need some more money?
We're not using the church anymore.
What? Why? It's not off, is it?
No, Dad. It's just that the congregation, they were against it.
Because of my speech?
It's okay, Dad. I promise it's okay.
Oh, Polly, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, Dad. Reverend Dar is determined to help. He says he'll marry us in his apartment, just us, you, Mom, and Mrs. Greenberg.
And what about Mr. Greenberg?
He's not coming.
Because of me?
No, Dad. Because of me. Because I'm Black.
Lord have mercy. Once more or what?
And I'd like
Once more?
to do. David, how was that for you, sound-wise?
It's the best, like by far the best. That was like you guys, that level of speaking and wherever your faces are in relation to your mics and everything. That was like by far the best. Really nice.
And it was also very intimate as
Yeah.
well, which I thought was very important.
Really
Just
nice.
a couple of things to help to suggest if we could just do one more.
Mhm.
What am I doing? I need to find my script again. There it is. Okay. I think be more upbeat, Tayo. How the wedding preparation's going, because what we have just come out of, both of you have just come out of this barrage of press. Okay, so
And
it's
I've probably enjoyed it too.
Yes, of course you have. So you, because you've enjoyed it, so you can, you've had your killer line. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to my people in Harlem, walking off with a good exit, not one of those exits where the door slams in your face, or do you know what I mean? Or you trip. It was a good exit. And so in a way you can come into this with laughter. Yeah. So can we try it with maybe a little bit of laughter between the two of you? Or, sort of not laughter as in ha ha ha, but more.
Sure.
Oh, how the wedding ended, do you know what I mean? Just to like kind of that kind of up tempo.
Okay.
Need more money, that kind of thing. And then, Mark, that gives you a chance to kind of change the mood, that it's you that changes the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. So I could probably take like a deep breath before I answer that question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. They've changed Dad. And then that gives you, it's really interesting about those sounds in between. In natural speak, we have our ums and ahs. And on the one hand, you want clean recordings, but on the other hand, those little, it's like a say what moment, but you're not going to say what, Tayo. But it's like, yeah, we're not using the church anymore, okay?
Yeah.
So you're trying to play it down, Mark. We're not using the church anymore. Like change of venue, and so don't play the depth of that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, Tayo, you're like, what? Why? Oh my God, it's not off, is it? Do you see what I mean? So just give it that space for each one. Although it's not what, why. It's like what, and then you're asking a question of your son. What has it? Everything broken up? And then this gives you, Mark, the chance to go. No, Dad. You can add a few no's. I think there, author allowing. Oh no, it's not that. No, Dad.
Sure.
It's just that the congregation were against it. You don't want to tell him.
Got it. So we're not getting to the deep, intimate part until he, Paul realizes it's about his speech.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. And then, Tayo, then the weight of it now sits in you. What, because of my speech? Oh, wow. Son, I'm so sorry. You can extemporize a little bit on that, I'm so, so sorry. Yeah. And then, so let that land, Mark. Yeah. Because of my, I think I asked you to add in an "it's okay" in there, which you did, which is great. It's okay. Oh, so it kind of gives it that space for it to land, which you're doing already, but I think we can get the gravitas of that now as it's changing, as it's shifting. And then, Mark, you can be more upbeat. Okay? Reverend Dawes, he's determined to help. Okay? He says he'll do this and he'll do that. And, it's like, okay, it's the consolation prize, but it's all good. And so then that allows you, Tayo, to say, what about Mr. Greenberg? And then, of course, you can't hide anymore. It's just like all the cards have come crashing down. It's coming. Yeah. Just as you were doing, just the weight of it. The real disappointment. And then, of course, Tayo, again, the weight of it. Is it my speech? And now is it because of me? There's nothing that he would want more than the joy of his son. And that's the challenge of any parent, isn't it? That your activism will have an impact on your child in some way. So let's hear the weight of that. And now this is, it's just raw. It's very raw. So, play it to the extreme. It speaks to where we are now. It speaks to the fact that even in this time, people are not, are not really entirely free to be their whole selves and love whoever they love. So take whatever time you need, Mark, to get those words out.
Okay.
And leave the space and the weight between them. And leave the tears and the pain in there. Let it sit in there. Okay?
Yep.
Right. I'm going to say to you to just do it once, but if you feel to do it again, don't say, shall we do it again? Just do it again and go in there. Okay? Please.
Tayo, can I ask that you just give a thumbs up if we do it again and nothing if you don't want to do it again?
Okay.
Thank you.
And the same for you. If you want to do it again, you do the thumbs up and he will go. So it's not a one-way street.
Got it. Got it.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, I'm the dad here.
I'm just trying to be a good son.
And he is your son. He's the one that's
I'm
holding
sorry.
on to your legacy, so treat him well. Okay, so
Okay.
stay in that space. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
They don't know who they're messing with.
They sure don't.
How are the wedding preparations going? You need some more money?
They've changed, Dad. We're just not using the church anymore.
What? Let's start again. Sorry. They sure didn't know who they were messing with, did they?
They sure don't.
How are the wedding preparations going?
They've changed, Dad.
You need some more money?
No, we're just not using the church anymore.
What? Why? It's not off, is it?
No, Dad. It's just that the congregation were against it. Let me say that one more time.
Yeah. Well, it's not off, is it?
No, Dad. It's just that the congregation were against it.
Because of my speech?
It's okay. Okay, Dad.
Oh, Paulie. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I promise. Dad, Reverend Dar is determined to help. He says he'll marry us in his apartment.
Oh,
Just
good.
us, you, Mom, and Mrs. Greenberg.
And what about Mr. Greenberg?
He's not coming.
What? Because of me?
No, Dad. Because of me. Because I'm Black.
Lord have mercy. They certainly didn't know who they were dealing with, did they?
They sure don't.
How are the wedding preparations going? Need some more money?
They've changed, Dad. We're not using the church anymore.
What? Why? It's not off, is it?
No, Dad. It's just the congregation were against it.
What? Because of my speech?
It's okay, Dad.
Oh, Paulie, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I promise, Dad. Reverend Dar is determined to help. He says he'll marry us in his apartment. Just us, you, Mom, and Mrs. Greenberg.
And what about Mr. Greenberg?
He's not coming.
Because of me?
No, Dad. Because of me. Because I'm Black.
Lord have mercy. Okay.
All right.
I think that was the one, don't you? There'll always be something in there
Yeah.
to think about and to change. But I think that was the one. David, I don't have a problem with you doing it again, but I do have a couple of things I can say to you. But what did David?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think it was right that you did it the second time. I think that the nuance was there. I mean, there's always one or two little things that you can change. I'm so happy, Mark, that you got the because I'm black rather than, because I'm black. But, it's like that old trope again, that's sat there. How did you feel?
I felt good. I felt happy with that.
Mark?
Okay. I'm good with it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you think, having established that intimacy of going back to the first scene?
I mean, I think let's go back and see how that feeds into the scene with all the the overlaps and so forth that we talked about, and also because there is that plosive sound. Maybe just think about a different way rather than shouting Paulie, 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 Paulie. You know what I mean? That kind of keep it more still with the intention, but more contained. Yeah.
I was also going to try just muting myself as soon as he says Paulie, and then unmuting for my next line.
Go for that. Go for that as well. All those little things that we can do to help. Okay. Right. I don't know why. I just realized that my camera is off and I'm making these wah-wah sounds. Here I am in all my beautiful, glorious self. So yeah, let's go back and do the beginning again and see how this intimacy of father and son informs their first meeting, which is what, I was talking about before. And really, just one note for you, Mark, which is separate again the narration from the moment that you see and hear your father.
Separated again.
Yeah. Do you know, like, it's like I'm in the middle of that. Like, hang on. Hey, Dad. Do you know what I mean? Just get that little bit of separation more.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Not.
Can you just model it for me real quick? If you were saying that last part of the line.
Model for you, an actor. Best. So let me have a look at where it says just very quickly. So you say he's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he'll be there because there he is now. Dad, did you see that kind of thing?
Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Over to you guys. Well done. And again, if you want to do it again, just indicate for each other, because I like that flow without saying do it again. Just find the space, do it a couple of times, and we'll get it in the can, as they say. Cool. Thank you, gentlemen.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, here he is now. Dad!
Paulie. Friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Thank you. Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference, but she'll be home tonight.
Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they have this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage looking for communist propaganda, I presume, and the FBI hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everybody's gunning for you.
That's right. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans going?
She's great, Dad. But we'll talk about that later. On the way home, there's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through, you say nothing, and I'll tell them
nothing? Boy, say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
So, come on. Let's face the goddamn press.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taking him a long time to come through customs, but I know he's there because, there he is now. Dad!
Holy! Oh, a friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference, but she'll be home tonight.
Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they have this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage, looking for communist propaganda, I presume. And the FBI is hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everybody's gunning for you.
Mm-hmm. How's Marilyn? How are the wedding plans?
She's great, Dad. But we'll talk about that later. On the way home, there's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through, you say nothing, and I'll tell them that.
Nothing, Paulie? Say nothing? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
So, come on. Let's meet this goddamn press. So, come on. Let's face the goddamn press. Okay.
Good. I have a couple of comments, if you don't mind.
Right.
Okay, so Mark, I think your energy is absolutely on point here. Yeah, that journey that you're going on now in terms of just trying to hold on to the information when he's asking about, how's Marilyn? I almost feel that in that line in the script there, how's Marilyn? You ought to say, she's great, Dad. And then, Tayo, you go on, how's the wedding plans? We'll talk about that later on the way home. Do you see what I mean? So, and then that leads us nicely into when you do start talking. She's great. The wedding plans, we'll talk about that later on the way home, and which is exactly what you do. So would you mind just making that adjustment, please? Okay. So now, Tayo, it's very, very important, I think, to kind of match the enthusiasm that your son has, and don't sit in the tiredness. Don't sit in the in that space. Try and match, almost like a ball bouncing. He's tired, but he has to pick up the joy of meeting his son. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can almost throw away that first line. I'm sorry you had to wait so long, son. First they did this, and then they did that, and then it was. Is this a police state now? Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the real key line. You know, is this a police state now? And yeah, well, yeah, you certainly did that. Do you know what I mean? It was a real stir. You know, so just try and keep that kind of sense. Otherwise, it's beginning to slow it down.
All right. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So if we could go again, and if you need to do a second one, just indicate to each other. And I think we're nearly there. Any comments from you guys before I? Great. Just go for it. This is that relationship. You've seen the way the intimacy is formed. We can separate, I think, Mark, as we said. Marilyn's great. We'll talk about the wedding later. And just put that in. Okay? Thank you.
My name is Paul Robeson Jr., or Paulie, as Mom and Dad call me. It's June 16th, 1949, and I'm here at LaGuardia Airport, New York, waiting for Dad. He's been on tour in Europe since January, and the tour has been, shall we say, not without controversy. It's taken him a long time to come through custom, but I know he's there because, here he is now. Dad!
Paulie. Oh, a friendly face at last.
Hi, Dad. Welcome home.
Where's your mom?
In Cleveland, talking at some social workers conference, but she'll be home tonight.
Good. Sorry you had to wait so long, son. First, they have this guard of about 20 police to escort me off the plane like I'm a mafia boss or something. Then the customs search every corner of my baggage looking for communist propaganda, I presume. And then the FBI is hovering conspicuously in the background. Is this a police state now?
Well, you certainly caused a stir all the way from Europe, Dad.
You don't say.
Since your Paris speech, it seems like everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah. How's Marilyn?
She's great as usual, Dad.
Good. How are the wedding plans?
We'll talk about that later. On the way home. There's a lot of press waiting for you, and they're not looking friendly. I figure we just walk right through, you say nothing, and I'll tell them that.
Say nothing, Paulie? What did I tell you Pop always used to say to me?
Yeah, Dad.
You gotta be ready to take
whatever's handed out.
So, come on. Let's face the goddamn press. Okay.
All right.
In the
Everybody's
can.
happy.
I'm happy with that. You?
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Guys, I think that's great.
Great.
So
No.
I think is that done for both of you now?
Not quite. Not for Paulie. Not for Mark, because you have some other lines to do as reporter and so on.
Okay.
So I'll tell you where they are. Oh gosh.
So they're on page. Is it 18? Is it page 18?
Okay, sorry, wait a minute.
You put them in interesting colors, Tayo, but you didn't put names next to them.
Well, it's because it's the same color as in the script. So, okay, so you read Marco on page 25. 24 to 27 in peak skill. I think it'll be 27.
Page 24 to 27. Got it.
So when he says this here is, she says this here is Marco, this is, okay.
Wait, my page 24 has the end of scene 6.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where it is?
27.
Okay, let me go to 27.
Or 20, it'll be, no, it'll be.
Just say, just say the scene. And it's scene, is it scene 8?
I found it. I just searched for the name Marco.
Scene 8.
I have page 30 for that.
Yeah. Scene 8, page 30. Good to meet you, sir. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Yeah.
So hello, Mr. Robeson.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do you just want to record that now, Taya?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we try and just give us a few different versions of it, Marco? One which is kind of, you know, when you meet someone, hello, not like I'm doing it now, but, you know, just a little bit more wider, and then just a little bit more principled version of it, a little bit more serious, much more fan-like, you know, somebody who's really excited to meet somebody of that genre, you know, so just try a few different versions of it, if that's okay.
Got it. Just go for it.
Yep, thank you.
Cool. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson.
Okay, I like the last one. Just let it hang in the air. Hello, Mark. Hi, hello, Mark. You know how it kind of just has a little bit of a coda at the end of it when we greet people. It's not cut completely. So yeah, give yourself a little space between them. You don't have to do them as quickly, one after each other.
Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson. Hello, Mr. Robeson.
Great. I think that's fine.
Next one is you're part of the mob in peak skill, and your line is dirty kike.
Got it. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Dirty kike.
Okay, that's great. But you know when you're in a crowd, there's this way. There's a way of shouting, which is like, "Up the workers!" You know, burn the house down. You know, that kind of. There's a kind of. It's not always as clear and crisp. Yeah. So in your mind, you're shouting at somebody's, put your pants on kind of, sound. Okay, so try again. Thank you.
All right. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Any quick feedback there? I don't think I'm quite getting what you
No, and I think the reason why is Taya, you may have ideas. Can you not say them as separate? So give yourself a little chant of it. Give yourself a little chant.
Get the hell out of here, you dirty kike.
Yeah, so so give
Go
yourself
back to Russia, you dirty kike.
Yeah, so a different sets of flows of them. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
Get out of here, you dirty kike. Go back to Russia, you dirty kike. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. How are any of those?
No, they're great. And I was thinking that you could keep that chant going on a little bit further because I can always cut it. Tayo.
Yep.
This is not what I imagined I'd be saying today, but I got you. All right.
So just keep the chant going a little bit longer, so they can always cut it and fade it out as the car is as the car is moving away.
Mm-hmm.
So do it about 7 times if that's okay. I mean, it's
Gotcha.
offensive, but we know where we are. We know why.
Got you.
Thank you.
Dirty kike. 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 Dirty kike.
Enough already.
Yeah. Okay, it just gives options. It means that it can be used to kind of, when the car is driving away, it can be used to fade out and so forth like that and things like that. David.
One more.
No, hold on. I just want to talk to David first.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sound-wise, how are we?
Really good. I mean, I think, it's just really, you've both got the feel of the use of these microphones and the whole kind of where we're at with the sound and how it works best. It's really working.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you muted yourself, Shala.
It's very sensitive. Just do the different things, different versions. You're free fall now, just different versions of how you might be, want to do it.
Gotcha.
Dirty, kike. You know what I mean? To me, it's like hearing the N word. So it's like it's really hard when it comes out of your mouth.
And then Adrian's going to be able to use a whole bunch of the different ones and mix it together for a nice crowd sound. So I mean, it seems great if there's loads of different versions, right?
Exactly. And so think about changing the tone of your voice. So we'll just give you like a minute to just do different versions of it, free fall. Do you know what I mean? All right. Thank you.
No problem. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Dirty kike. Go back to Russia. Get out of our country, dirty kike. Get out of here, you dirty kikes. Dirty, kike. Dirty, kike. Dirty, kike. Dirty commies, dirty kikes. Dirty commies, dirty kikes. Dirty commies, dirty kikes. Go back to Russia.
I think we get it. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I think that's strong. Tayo, are you happy?
Yes, thank you. And
Thank
finally,
you.
on page 35, please, voiceover number 4.
Got it. Communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson, the police said.
Okay. I think here, again, just take your time because you've just come out of this chant. So now you've got to get yourself into your best CNN, NBC, ABC, CJD voice. Okay. And so just play with it. Do it a few times yourself, and then when you're done, just stick your hand up and like, yeah, okay, I'm done now. Just try different versions. Thank you.
Gotcha. Communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson, the police said. Communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson, the police said.
Okay, just gonna stop you there. Tayo, can we move the police said to the beginning?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, is that okay, Mark?
According to police.
Okay, according to police. Okay, Mark? Okay. And just as many times as you like. Thank you so much.
According to the police, communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson. Communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson. Communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson.
According to the police.
You're right. You're right. Thank you. According to the police, communists, Negroes, and Jews were seen inciting violence against the peace-loving residents of Peekskill yesterday after a concert by the communist Negro singer Paul Robeson.
I'm good, if you're good. Yeah?
Yep.
Paul?
Yep, me, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
that all now, Tayo? Is that all from your list?
One more thing.
Okay.
We didn't get a chance to talk about this, but when I'm doing my speech in the ballroom and people...
Okay, can I just pause you before you say that?
Yeah.
You know voiceover number 3, crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful Peekskill.
Yeah.
Can we also have, Mark, can you also say that, please? Let's, so we have a different, we have a few different options, please.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful Peekskill. Crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful Peekskill. This just in, crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful Peekskill. Crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful Peekskill.
Thank you. Can you do it more intimately?
Mm-hmm. And by intimately, do you mean softly?
Yeah, more like a news report. The way that we're doing it now is like a reporter on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So in the studio.
Gotcha. Crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful peak skill. Crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful peak skill. Crazy commie crowd wrecks peaceful peak skill.
Thank you. Tayo.
Yes. The speech, the interjections and exclamations when I'm speaking after the first riot. I maybe especially I think it won't work here unless I send I record it after you and I have gone through it, Shola, and get Mark to just add interjections and send them to Adrian.
Okay, so why don't we leave that?
Yeah.
Why don't we leave that? I'm just trying to look at the other pieces on the reporters' voices, if you don't mind, Mark, just to hold you just for a moment. Okay. Yeah, I mean, would you mind, Mark, just reading voiceover 1 and voiceover 2 in your own time? Just sometimes when you put things together, one voice sounds, the combination of voices sounds different. So if you can just do the Robeson concert ends in violent rioting, on the ground reporter, in the studio reporter, and the same with voiceover 2, please, in your own time. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Robeson concert ends in violent rioting. 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 Major rioting took place in Cortlandt Park outside Peekskill in Westchester County of New York, September 4th. Major rioting took place in Cortlandt Park outside Peekskill in Westchester County of New York, September 4th, after a concert given by Negro singer Paul Robeson. It is believed that the violence had been started by a group of communists loyal to Mr. Robeson and dedicated to the violent overthrow of the government of the United States of America. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's my fault for jumping in. So apologies. I was just going to say, with this one, with the voiceover 2, be on the ground. And like the residues of the writing are still around you.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Cool. Major rioting took place in Cortlandt Park outside Peekskill in Westchester County of New York, September 4th, after a concert given by Negro singer Paul Robeson. It is believed that the violence had been started by a group of communists loyal to Mr. Robeson and dedicated to the violent overthrow of the government of the United States of America.
Great. I like that. David?
Sorry, can you do that one again? Actually, you broke up a little bit right in the middle of it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So Mark, do that one with that intensity, and then do one in the studio. You know,
Okay.
like I just had a little clip, and then you're almost done.
Gotcha. Major rioting took place in Cortlandt Park outside Peekskill in Westchester County of New York, September 4th, after a concert given by Negro singer Paul Robeson. It is believed that the violence had been started by a group of communists loyal to Mr. Robeson and dedicated to the violent overthrow of the government of the United States of America.
I think the volume level is making something peak a little bit. So maybe if you backed up or just spoke a little bit quieter.
Major rioting took place in Cortlandt Park outside Peekskill in Westchester County of New York, September 4th, after a concert given by Negro singer Paul Robeson. It is believed that the violence had been started by a group of communists loyal to Mr. Robeson and dedicated to the violent overthrow of the government of the United States of America.
That was a bit better, and maybe any stuff that's going on can be edited later. I'm not sure what's happening, but I mean, you could try doing it again, just with same kind of sort of sound, but just lower volume if possible, and maybe it'll stop doing that little clipping thing that it's doing.
Okay.
So just go in the studio now. In your studio, like you're going to go over to a clip afterwards.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Major rioting took place in Cortlandt Park outside Peekskill in Westchester County of New York on September 4th after a concert given by Negro singer Paul Robeson. It is believed that the violence had been started by a group of communists loyal to Mr. Robeson and dedicated to the violent overthrow of the government of the United States of America.
That was better.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think that's fantastic. That was good. Yeah, I think that's good. So Tayo, anything more? No? Mark, I think you're amazing. It's a real privilege to have had the opportunity to work with you this evening. And, well, it's your afternoon. It's getting late here. So I'm really hoping that our paths will cross again soon. I'm just going to hand over to Tayo now to kind of say his wonderful words of thanks and so forth. And I hope to see you again.
It's been great working with you. Thanks for putting up with my my amateur growing as we were right now.
I'm adoring that canopy there. Yeah, I'm adoring it.
Thank you, Mark. It's Hofstra University. What was it I saw you do? You did the thing about, was it, did you do the thing, the...
James Weldon Johnson, and also Because He's Black by Javon Johnson.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, tiny little performances like that, you never know how they stick and how it plants a seed and where it'll grow. So thank you very much. Thank you so much. I
appreciate you big time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, missed it. Okay. Can I say I think we need to have a little break.
Yep.
And then we need to come back, if that's okay, David.
Absolutely. Well, you can just leave your computer as it is, and people can look at a blank room for a while, and then when you come back, yeah, I'll be around.
Okay, so let's agree. 10 minutes. Yeah, I think that's a good enough time. Okay. All right. And so where are we now? So 6:15, please. Thank you.
See you then.
See you then.
See ya.
Hello. Oh, I think you're muted. Let's see.
Hey, no, I'm good. I think I'm going to think very carefully because we've got the bulk of the work to do tomorrow. So I think if we check some sound things first of all and make sure, I mean, I think most of the work will be kind of intimate, but in those first scenes tomorrow, there needs to be a sense of people coming from a further place into discovery. So they just need to work out how they sit in their mics. But other than that, we just try and keep it as intimate as possible in some ways and just try and play with that in its sounds. But there's a lot to do tomorrow, so I'm just mindful of trying to keep the momentum, which is why I like to do more than one recording at the same time and leave it to the actors to kind of take that momentum, if that sounds okay. If you have any thoughts on that, David, I'm happy to hear them.
Oh, I'm just no. I mean, I think the sound quality we got today was really good, and then I can just be doing what I've been doing and just hearing what people are sounding like and making suggestions if there's anything that's not really working.
Sure, I think that's incredible. Thank you very much. We needed your daughter. We needed a little, just like, little frissons of your daughter just to kind of keep us going.
I can sing a song or something. The kids left the apartment now. They're all dressed up for Halloween very well. One is a pumpkin and the other's a mummy.
It's true. Are you doing that there? Are you doing trick and treating?
I think they're just going to go play in the park where there are probably other kids with costumes, but I think there's not much. I don't know how much of that is going to be going on, but I know a lot of people are talking about using little homemade catapults and funnels and different things to get the candy to the kids.
Yes. I've been seeing those things online as well. Tayo,
Yes.
I want to suggest that we do your big speech first.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm happy to kind of take your lead in the rhythm of how you feel you want to go. Okay. But I think this is really the big one.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so I'd like to give you a few suggestions.
All right, let me just find it because I was at the...
No, you're not allowed to find it. Come on. It's just a note off by heart. Page 40?
Okay. And by the way, I was able to share the screen before.
Yeah, the screen share worked, but I mean, in terms of actors reading from the script, it wouldn't work the same way because, like, you can see the window's so small, and what other people are seeing, the viewers can see the full screen, but it's not really, the platform isn't so great for that. But having the script going on, some other window, I guess, for the actors would be the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it says very clearly if you have a double monitor that it can work. I can see how that would work. But it doesn't. I mean, anyway, but this is really about the sound. So obviously on the best platform for the sound. Tayo, please just focus on just that world that he has here of trying somehow to keep friendships, to hold on to his political viewpoints, and yet having that sense of betrayal as well when people challenge you for your beliefs, particularly people that know you the most. It's almost unforgivable in some respects. So I sense that there's quite a lot of hurt here. And you need, the thing that's important is to lift it off the page with those ums and ahs, and not ums and ahs, but those moments where he's trying to find the words to articulate how he feels. He's not giving information. He's remembering it. He's refinding it, and also reliving somewhat the pain and the trauma and the hurt of that experience, but also celebrating his father's journey, which passes on to him and which passes on to his son. So these words don't come lightly, is what I'm saying. They come from a place, and for him to have to go back with a close friend, to have to go back into that space, something that they've known already. He says, I've told you this before. So the fact is, he is having to go back into that space to explain it. And it doesn't feel painful. I mean, it doesn't feel painless. What are your thoughts?
I agree.
Okay.
I'll go for that.
Okay.
Can I again check? Oh, yes. Okay.
Right. So what I would say is, because it's quite a long speech, maybe we'll come together after you do it the first time and reflect on it, and then after that you do a couple of takes yourself, because as you're hearing it, you'll hear those moments that you could just create space in there. Okay, indignation at times even. All right. Okay, thank you. Let's just go for one. Thank you.
Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was born a slave. My father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me.
Sorry, Tayo. Take your...
You're muted.
Sorry. Take your time. Find it. You've got it in front of you, but find it. Slow it down. Find the words. He's speaking out of a place. Okay, and it's not easy for him to say this to somebody who knows him really well. I just want to give you a few, if you don't mind, just a few pointers. Yeah. This is not a reading for you, but a sense of what I'm asking for. Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was a slave, my own father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermon. Do you see what I'm saying? It's that just finding a kind of a flow. Not you don't have to take that reading of it, but that process of when you're talking to somebody about something that you've already told them about before and having to just re-find it. Okay?
Yeah, formulating the words in my mind before I speak them.
Yes. Thank you. So just take your time. Sure. And I'd say, having given you that information, go through it once, give yourself a beat, and then go through it again. Okay? And then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ben, As you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey, by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father enslaved North Carolina. But he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben, Heslander is from the Cardoso family, Jewish exiles from Spain from a few hundred years ago. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell our stories, but they're your stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety, and if we don't stick together, Ben, we'll never be safe. We'll never settle, never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. You were not there in Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or to go back to Russia. And yet, Jewish people stood there by the hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America you love so much. The America that is forcing so many Jews to leave for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way from you. And when I use my platform to speak out, I am speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in. Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey, by my father. Sorry, there's something in the way here. What is this? Okay. Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father, enslaved in North Carolina. But he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben, Eslander is from the Cardoso family, Jewish exiles from Spain from a few hundred years back. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people our spirituals, they tell your stories, but they're our stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety. And if we don't stick together, Ben, we will never be safe. We'll never settle, never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, Ben. But you seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, and I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. You were not there in Peekskill to hear the patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City. Or to go back to Russia. And yet, Jewish people stood there by the hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America you love so much. The America that is forcing so many Jews to leave for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way from you. And when I use my platform to speak out, I am speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben. Even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in.
Great. There's lots of really good things in there, Taya. I think we need to just kind of look at it and look for the light and the shade of when he is mourning the potential loss of a friendship and when he is really angry. And so I think we need to have a sense of that anger and that boiling over in there. If we just take a look at it together, first of all, before I say that, how are you feeling?
Fine, good. Good. I'm feeling that I am finding the depth as I go.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm wondering, Everett, you go as you know. It's like if you have those, those kind of interjections there, you could take off the as. If you could have Ben. I was raised in Princeton, Brooklyn, Princeton, Brooklyn, New Jersey, by my father. Yeah. So, but or you can be matter of fact about it, Ben, as you know. You could be more matter of fact about it. But I think that there's something in there. At some point, you need to lose your temper. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it starts when you say, I've told you this before. Yeah. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons. He taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish. Yeah. It's like I am one. You're saying to him that, what are you saying? I identify with you. We have more in common than we have, that's separate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you're just laying those foundations. Those are almost very, they're tied notes, if you like, but very firm. Yeah. Very strong beats in there. I have sung Hasidic chants for years. Yeah. I think there's a space there. There's a beat in there. And then in there, implicit in there, is another story now. Ben Islander is from the Cardoso family. Always thinking, I've told you this before. Yeah. You know this, Jewish exiles from Spain a few hundred years back. And my son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jewish, Ben. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like You need to find that space in there. And here you're coming to your Hasidic chants, your Yiddish, your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your story. And they are our stories too. Do you see what I mean? Just kind of find that flow when you're trying to weave this story. It's hard when you've written it as well and you've got that kind of space, but you need to find that space in there. There's a sense that I want to edit a little, but I'll be advised by you.
No, I was actually going to say, do you think it's too long? So I'm happy for you to suggest edits.
Yeah. I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to try, first of all, you just getting the different tones of it. If I could share my screen, you'd see that I painted sections in different colors. I'd highlighted them in different colors. So, for example, when we come to,
I can do that here if you tell me.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave that for the moment.
Okay.
If you put a color, I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to have forgotten how hundreds are fleeing. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me this kind of patriotic BS. Yeah, we're not so far apart. Yeah. So it's like it's one of those days of reckoning of friendship where don't put me on the other side and pretend that you don't know what I'm talking about. So I made the Islander Cardoso thing there, your stories too. I highlighted that in yellow, just as a very different kind of a story, but also I've told you this before. You know I'm more connected to you. How dare you? How dare you? You know, because if you don't get the anger in there, if you don't get the steel in there, it's almost like you're pleading with him all the time. So I think he goes in waves. Fact. Your people and my people have always looked for places of safety. And if they don't stick together, then we'll never be safe. We'll never settle. We'll never find peace. Fact. Hypocrisy. Yeah? I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to have forgotten how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government that you're lauding all of a sudden with your fake patriotism. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son's married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. So not hitting that word so heavily so that it's very different to Peekskill. It's like when we use the N word in that context. They're only an N. Yeah, they're only an N. We're not using the same power on it because you're not shouting at him for that. It's almost hard for you to even say it. And now fact, you were not there in Peekskill to hear the patriotic Americans yelling for white ends, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or go back to Russia. And yet, do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, don't tell me about my experience. I had a really interesting meeting yesterday where we were talking about Black students studying in university. And we asked some of the students to make videos. And one of the videos, a student said, my oppression is not your opinion. And it really bounced. It really created a massive, response in terms of the safety of Black students or students of color on British campuses. Okay? My oppression is not your opinion. Don't tell me what I am experiencing. And I sense this here. Yeah? We're not so far apart. So you're not pleading with him. This is an old friend and you're giving him some facts. And how dare you say, this America that's forcing Jews to leave for America. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way to you. And when I use my platform to speak, so do you see I'm hitting on some of those words? Maybe I'm not asking you to hit on them as hard, but I am asking you to make the difference between Ben's platform of patriotism and Paul Robeson's platform of patriotism. When I use my platform to speak out, I'm speaking from a place of love, not that place of hate that these so-called patriotic Americans are yelling with their words. And my songs will be heard, Ben. They will be heard, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them. So he's angry here. He's angry and hurt, but he's not begging. So I just want you to take the time to tell that story, please.
Okay. Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey, by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father, enslaved in North Carolina. But he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben Eslander is from the Cardoso family, Jewish exiles from Spain, from a few hundred years back. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your stories. They are our stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety, and if we don't stick together, Ben, we will never be safe. We'll never settle. We'll never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, and I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. And you were not there in Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or to go back to Russia. And yet, Jewish people stood there by the hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America you love so much. The America that is forcing so many Jews to leave for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way from you. And when I use my platform to speak out, I am speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in.
Good. So really good. I think that we can still get more anger in there and more fact. Now I'm just going to ask Paul how it sounds first. David, how it sounds, and then
yeah, it's sounding very good, and really the only, I mean, yeah, no, it's very good. The first time through, when you said pop, it popped, but otherwise it's really been very good.
Great. Now I'm going to ask you, David, if you don't mind, to actually stay on and be Ben for time to kind of look at, if you see what I mean, and then take me off from it. That's one thing. And then, Tayo, I'm just going to ask you to be, I don't always like doing this with actors, but I think I just want to try and get a certain level of energy from you. Okay, so we've just come from, I've had enough of this, Paul, let's go. Wait, Essie, wait. Ben, you know I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish people amongst whom I was raised in Princeton. Sung the Hasidic chant for years. Then Aslander is from the Cardoso family, Jewish exiles from Spain, from a few hundred years back. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren are Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your stories, but they're our stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety, and if we don't stick together, Ben, we will never be safe, we'll never settle, never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to forget how hundreds of fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. And I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son has married a nice white woman, even if she's only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. You were not at Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or back to America or back to Russia. And yet, Jewish people stood there by hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America that you love so much. The America that's forcing so many Jews to leave for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way to you. And when I use my platform to speak out, I'm speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in. I'm just trying to say that kind of looking for whatever flow it is that you can find, that he is suppressing the anger and at times letting it go back. You're sitting in a space that sometimes of trying to coax him. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas I don't think you have to. This is an old friend and you can speak truth to power with him. This relationship goes back over 30 years. So if you can't get angry, and then the response you get from him is, nice speech. Oh my gosh. What should come, in all good fairy tales, is, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, we are in this together. But this was a time of, House of Un-American activities. People were scared. And the question I have to ask you, Tayo, is, do you think Paul was scared?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so therefore he doesn't have to plead.
Okay. So you heard the way you heard.
I want to hear more of that. The moments where he's angry, he's still holding on to it. But we need to lead to that line where he says, you know, F you. If I can't record here, I will build my own studio. And in there implicit is that, yeah, build your own studio, but you're not taking these recordings with you. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're kind of foregrounding that.
Okay. No, you don't think that I was feeling that it's like a slow boil.
You're going to make me laugh now. You're going to slow boil. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be one of those things that I'm going to say to you, slow boil. Finish what you're going to say, and then I'm going to tell you a quick little story, a little anecdote.
So that the anger, you know, he's actually suppressing his anger, but then it takes a while for it to really boil, you know, come to the surface. But so I'm just wondering whether that is what you're hearing as a plea.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need a slightly different tack. I think that they're, you know, I think if you're having an argument, even with a close friend, you lose it and then you try and rein yourself in again. Yeah. So you lose it earlier. Like it's starting from, you know all of this. I've told you this before. So I actually shouldn't be having to tell you this. So yes, he's holding all of that in. But I think, you know, hang on a minute. My wife is Jewish or comes from a traditional Jewish. My son is marrying a Jewish person. My grandchildren are going to be Jewish. And what the heck? Your so-called patriots that you're talking about were shouting X, Y, and Z.
So what the hell are you talking about?
Exactly. That energy. What the heck? You know? And then of course there is a little bit of softness in there to say, oh, you know, I love America too. But, you know, it's just slightly different. And mine is not coming from hate, it's coming from love. Yeah. And basically, if you don't want to be my friend and you don't want to work with me, I'll just take my work elsewhere. Because I know that this work is important. I have a sense of my legacy. Yeah. So sometimes when we're holding it in too much, it's actually not reading in the same way. We have to have that arc for him. Yeah. And then just as a little, because we always have our little anecdotes when we talk, I was once working with an actor. We were in dress rehearsal. I can see your cheeks moving a bit because you know I'm going to say something. So this is not you. This is another actor. I'm not going to expose your... So I was working with this actor, and he was giving the performance, which was very contained. And I had said a similar thing that I'm saying to you. And he said these prophetic words that he didn't want to peak too early. And I had to say to him at that point, the way you are going, you are not going to peak at all. So please peak.
Okay. Just sustain it.
Yeah, and I think it's quite a big speech. So, you know, do one, and then if you feel inclined to do another, then, you know, do another. But David, because you're with him, if you think it's good, then just give the hands up, okay? So just take me out, and your Ben is right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey, by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben Eslander is from the Cardozo family, Jewish exiles from Spain from a few hundred years back. My son, Paulie, just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your stories, but they're our stories too. Your people and mine. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety. And if we don't stick together, Ben, we'll never be safe. We'll never settle. We'll never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben? You were not there in Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or go back to Russia. And yet Jewish people stood there by the hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America you love so much. The America that is forcing so many Jews to leave for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way from you. And when I use my platform to speak out, I am speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in. Again, Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons. He taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben Eslander is from the Cardozo family, Jewish exiles from Spain from a few hundred years back. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your stories, but they're our stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety. And if we don't stick together, Ben, we'll never be safe. We'll never settle. We'll never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. You were not there in Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City, to go back to Russia. No, it's just... the lines have just gone... Oh, gosh. Sorry about this.
Tyler, I was just wondering about the one line where you say hundreds of years back, if it might feel more natural if you said centuries back, because you had just used the word years in the previous sentence.
From a few centuries back.
Just from a songwriter perspective, that's what I'd do.
I need to find this as a PDF. It's just kind of... the lines have mashed together. What page was it? 34, I think. Okay. No. 40.
And actually, can we just experiment with the sound maybe? And can you try going to settings on the right of your screen and then click audio?
The right of these...
I think it should be on the right of your screen on StreamYard, where it says settings. Or wherever you see a little on StreamYard, or wherever you see something like a little gear that says settings underneath it. Your screen might be different from mine because I'm the host. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's not on the, let's see, on my screen, it's all the way to the right.
Yes, I see it. I see it. It's at the bottom.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So click
audio.
Settings and then Audio, and then where right now echo cancellation is checked.
It is checked, yeah.
So uncheck it.
Okay.
Let's just try. Can you give the speech with that and see what it sounds like?
Okay. All right.
Tyler, that background sound is just the sound of your computer. It's not that you have any kind of a fan going or anything like that, other than whatever's in the computer.
Yeah, it's the fan.
The fan in the computer.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. It can't go off. So never mind.
I could direct it. I won't cover it up.
Right, that would kind of defeat the purpose. If you put something in between the fan and the mic, maybe some kind of, I don't know, object of any kind.
I'll tell you what. No, I can put some more cloth near it so it doesn't bounce back off.
There we go. Oh, sorry. Shala speaking. Sorry, Shala. we weren't. I didn't see you trying to say anything. Sorry.
So I wanted to ask her, are you going from the top, or are you going to finish this one off?
I will go from the top.
Okay, so if you're going from the top, can you find moments, particularly at the end, where you're talking about the different Americas and the Americas that I love? Make that a little bit softer.
All right.
That's your patriotism. So you're walking into your patriotism towards the end of this speech. Okay?
Okay. All right. Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben, Eslander is from the Cardozo family, Jewish exiles from Spain from a few centuries back. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your stories, but they are our stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety, and if we don't stick together, we will never be safe, Ben. We will never settle. We will never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America, but you seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben? You were not there at Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or to go back to Russia. And yet Jewish people stood there by the hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America you love so much. The America that is forcing so many Jews to leave for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way from you. And when I use my platform to speak out, I am speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in.
Okay, thank you. I think we've gone too far the other way now. So we need to find a middle ground where, like I mentioned, with the word love, as you move towards the end of this speech, that you show your patriotism. You're showing your patriotism through the music, through your songs, and those last few sentences, I love America too. It's just I love it differently to you. Yeah. So from there, he sits in his patriotism and softens it up a bit. I needed you to kind of get to that anger, but I need you also to be able to rein it in as well. You know, that thing that you were talking about, just holding it in. But if you don't let it out with your friend, it's absolutely insulting. He knows who you are. He knows that you're not a traitor. And if a close friend can turn against you like that, then what else? But when you're talking about, it's from that time when you say, okay, yeah, my son is marrying a Jew, my grandchildren are going to be Jews, Ben. From then it's like, we are interwoven as family. It's not pleading, but it's like it starts saying that's the patriotism, that's the love that I sit in, not this hate. that you're pushing forward. So you need to just find the light and shade. I'm going to push you, if you don't mind, to do it one more time. And then we've got one more speech in scene 10, and then I would like to stop there, because I think there's a limit to what you can do in one recording. But I think that those two, if we can get these two big pieces down, that will be helpful, because there's quite a lot to do tomorrow. How are you feeling, Tayo?
I'm feeling fine, thanks. You still have a bit to do yourself, you know.
I can't hear you, sorry.
You still have a bit to do yourself. Which was
oh, really?
the voiceover.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm wondering.
Tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am also concerned. I think David was talking about my sound. So
yeah, we really, if Charlotte is going to have any lines, then we need to work on the input of the distortion.
So I'm almost wondering. I would love to do it, but I'm almost wondering. I mean, I know I could. I mean, I can record it on my phone. So I can do that.
That'll be great.
So I can do that. So other than that, because I think it's coming to 7:15. There's a limit to how much one can do. Okay, so let's get these two done, and let's see how we're all feeling once we've got the other one in the can. And then if you want to tell me those stage directions, then okay, fine. But otherwise, we might have to do them tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to hit it again?
All right.
Okay. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tayo.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Tayo, maybe we could turn the echo cancellation back on, because that fan is really loud. If there's any way to deal with the fan before tomorrow, that'd be great. But maybe go into settings and audio and turn the echo cancellation back on. I don't know what's best for the mixing purposes for Adrian, but he'll be having to get rid of that somehow. You're muted, Tayo.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to turn the echo cancellation back on?
All right.
I think that might be best. It gets rid of that background noise.
What time are you at there, David?
12:15 p.m. I technically have a broadcast at the top of the hour that I'm supposed to do, but it's no problem to be late with that if we're going over.
Okay. I have a feeling that I would love to push for the second one, but I almost feel that there's quite a lot emotionally in this one, so I would like to stop after this one, but I would like, before we come off from the call, to reflect on actually what we have to do tomorrow, so that I can kind of work out that, because to do two very big speeches straight after, one after each other, can be quite tiring. So let's try this again and let's see where we're at. Thank you.
Ben, as you know, I was raised in Princeton, New Jersey by my father. Pop was born a slave. My own father enslaved in North Carolina, but he escaped and became a minister in New Jersey. You know, I've told you this before. Pop knew Hebrew. He used it in his sermons, and he taught it to me. I sing Hebrew. I speak Yiddish, taught to me by the Jewish folks among whom I was raised in Princeton. I have sung the Hasidic chant for years. Ben, Islander is from the Cardozo family, Jewish exiles from Spain from a few centuries back. My son Paulie just married a nice Jewish girl. My grandchildren will be Jews, Ben. Your people and my people are one. The songs of my people, our spirituals, they tell your stories, but they're our stories too. Your people and mine have always looked for places of safety, and if we don't stick together, Ben, we will never be safe. We'll never settle. We'll never find peace. I admire your loyalty to America. You seem to forget how hundreds fleeing Nazi Germany were turned away by this government. Oh, I didn't tell you about the dozens of letters from so-called patriots telling me I should be happy now that my son married a white woman, even if she was only a kike. Only a kike, Ben. You were not there in Peekskill to hear patriotic Americans yelling for the white niggers, the kikes, to go back to Jew City or to go back to Russia. And yet Jewish people stood there by the hundreds to protect me, to protect us from the America you love so much. The America that is forcing so many Jews to flee for Israel. I love America too, Ben, but in a different way from you. And when I use my platform to speak out, Ben, I am speaking from a place of love. My songs will be heard, Ben, even if I have to build my own damn studio to record them in.
I think I heard a little bit of popping at the beginning, but I think, that's something that we'll leave it to Adrian to kind of sort out. But Tayo, how did you feel?
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's enough for today.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the next piece that I have is, the piece where you're interspersed with sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long struggle that I've waged. Actually, let's David, do you mind if we could just try and see if we could get one take of this?
Yeah, go ahead. No
Okay.
problem.
So scene 10, Tayo. It's been a long struggle that I've waged, sometimes not very well understood. Let's see if we can take the energy from this, the tiredness, the battling without change, the fatigue that comes out of being an activist, but determined. The fire is still there. Yeah. So just try it a couple of times, please, and without comment.
You said one. You said one. Okay.
Let's try it a couple of times, please.
All right.
Thank you.
It's been a long struggle that I have waged, sometimes not very well understood. People need to know that this struggle is not just by and for communists and blacks, but includes an alliance of oppressed people everywhere. My loyalty to America has been called into question. But let there be no doubt that I am loyal to America, but only to the America of the true traditions, to the America of the abolitionists, of Harriet Tubman, of Thaddeus Stevens, of Frederick Douglass. I am loyal to those who fought for my people's freedom, not to those who tried to enslave them, and not to the Wall Streeters. What happened yesterday in Peekskill is a preview of the American stormtroopers in action. But with the way the workers rallied to the defense of the peace-loving people there, what we also saw was a real turn in the anti-fascist struggle in America. It has opened people's eyes. We are part of a very historic departure. This means that from now on out, we take the offensive. We will have our meetings and our concerts all over these United States. That's right. I'll be back in Peekskill, and we'll see that our women and our children are not harmed again. Everybody will understand that the surest way to get police protection is to have it very clear that we'll protect ourselves.
Can you turn the input level
Sure.
down on your microphone and try that again?
All right.
As from the technical angle, anyway.
Yep. Oh, it's gone up.
Just like-
It's gone up to full, in fact. Funny enough, I don't know how. Is that better?
Yeah, that should be great.
Should I just do it again?
Oh, you're muted, Shala. Shala, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, do it again, but also, even when he's giving a speech outside, there are moments of, there are just moments of reflection. Find the moments this time where you're not just talking to the crowd, but you're also talking to yourself. Okay? Just very briefly, let me have a look. Okay, so you told her, I am loyal to those who fought for my people's freedom, not those who enslaved them, not the Wall Streeters. Do you know what I mean? What happened yesterday in Peekskill is a preview of, so try and find those moments when you are talking to a crowd, but you don't have to shout to them all the time. Mm-hmm. You want to draw them into you. So the difference between that proclamation that you do when you're doing a big speech and when you bring them into you. And that's one of those moments. Okay? Have a go.
Sure.
Thank you.
It's been a long struggle that I have waged, sometimes not very well understood. People need to know that this struggle is not just by and for communists and blacks, but includes an alliance of oppressed people everywhere. My loyalty to America has been called into question. But let there be no doubt that I am loyal to America, but only to the America of the true traditions, to the America of the abolitionists, of Harriet Tubman, of Thaddeus Stevens, of Frederick Douglass. I am loyal to those who fought for my people's freedom, not to those who tried to enslave them, and not to the Wall Streeters. What happened yesterday in Peekskill is a preview of American stormtroopers in action. But with the way the workers rallied to the defense of the peace-loving people there, what we also saw was a real turn in the anti-fascist struggle in America. It has opened people's eyes. We are part of a very historic departure. This means that from now on out, we take the offensive. We'll have our meetings and our concerts all over these United States. That's right. I'll be back in Peekskill. And we'll see that our women and our children are not harmed again. Everybody will understand that the surest way to get police protection is to have it very clear that we'll protect ourselves.
Yeah, I think that we've got, two different offers there, and I think either one of them can work. I think maybe we might do it again tomorrow. Now that the sound is dampened down a bit, you can still explode. But I thought that was quite rich. David?
I agree. It sounded good.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we should stop. I would like to know, because I can actually record this on my phone. The stage directions, Ty, that you would like me to do, and I'd like to run through the sequence for tomorrow, just so that we know what we're doing when. And David, you could help us then in terms of just in terms of checking people's distance and things, so we can get that done at the top, if you see what I mean. So just another 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Kyle, if you could run through the schedule for tomorrow, as so that because I'm just digesting it from all the information that we've got. Mr. Aluko.
I'm just bringing it up. Okay.
Just give me a moment. I'm just going to come off.
No, this isn't the latest. Right. Okay.
I'm back.
All right. Okay, so 5 o'clock our time. It's me and...
I can barely hear you. I don't know why.
5 o'clock our time.
Thank you.
Me and Essie at home. And I have that for 1 hour. Scene 3.
Okay.
And then I thought we would have a break, even though that's... But then Daryl Lloyd comes in at 6:30 our time for an hour to do the scene in the car on the way back to Harlem. But he will also record some other things.
Okay, when are you recording your songs, Tayo?
I
as a separate thing.
Yeah, in fact, that was
Okay.
scheduled for today.
Okay.
I
So
can
6:30.
I can do those another time, but play them back to you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead. I'm just
All right.
trying to bounce with David here for this. Go ahead.
All right. So then after the Lloyd's car, we go to the peak skill scene with Helen and me and Sydney and David.
Okay.
That's scene 8A. And then after that, that's from 7 to 8. And then 8, we do Adele and George in Kenosha. Scenes 1, 9, and 14.
Okay. Right. Okay. So the reason why I'm saying so 5 to 6. Okay. Let's see how we go. I mean, I'd rather we compress it and try to work as compactly as possible, rather than working deep into the night. If we can, when things are spread out too much. I mean, of course, you can never tell how long certain things are going to take, but I think we've got a couple of intimate scenes there, David. So we'll just try and keep them as intimate as possible. Obviously, the peak skill one is quite a big one. That's going to be quite a big one, I think. We just need to work out how to maneuver that in terms of not having too many clashing sounds, but maybe we'll just do a little rehearsal of people talking, not even just overlapping, but just maybe we'll just record people speaking and they can be mixed together.
Yeah, definitely. And they can overlap too, and it'll sound okay. It's just that there may be this delay, it seems. I don't know if it's a transatlantic thing or what, but what the deal is with that delay. But it should be fine even with overlap.
Sure. And then obviously we've got those for the first scenes, which again are quite intimate, with Adele and George at the beginning and so forth. And then what I would suggest then, Tayo, is that either in that area, I mean, there needs to be a gap, of course, but that you will be of better voice at the start of the session than you would be towards the end. So if it was something that you wanted to do with David in terms of the singing, that you do it earlier on in the session than later.
I think David, yeah.
Or you can do it as a separate.
Yes, I think a separate thing, because there's too much.
A separate call.
Too much going
If you're singing a cappella, then this kind of format could work okay. But if you can make a recording in a better situation for singing, if you somewhere there, then that's great. And of course, if you're playing with the keyboard player, then that's a whole different thing. You'll need to do that somewhere with the keyboard player, or somehow, right, using that track to sing to.
Yeah, so I think, okay, that's a separate, that's definitely a separate thing. Tayo, can you send me later on today the stage directions that you would prefer me to read, and I will make some decisions accordingly. I'm happy to I'm happy to get the cast in the can, if you see what I mean, today, and finish off with that. But equally, I'm supposed to be recording it myself, aren't I, on my own device? Is that right, David?
Yeah, for any parts you're doing, that would be.
Okay, I think that we should stop there, to be perfectly honest. I think we've done enough for today. I think that's kind of quite rich. And let's start again tomorrow, and all these little bits and pieces we can chip in as we can. The break that you're thinking of, Tayo, at 5 is how long?
Oh, half an hour. But
Okay.
we probably won't get it.
We will.
Okay.
We will. We'll get a break anyway and make sure that we work tightly. I think day one is always the day when you're just trying to work things through. What's really important tomorrow to keep things on track is to focus on the performance and leave the technical aspects. I will ask David, if it's how it sounds. Obviously, like today when you had that delay that you could clearly hear, of course, say that and come in. But I'll go on the process of giving you some feedback and asking you to do a couple of takes with an agreement with the other actor. That saves time. If both of you are okay with it and it sounds okay, both in terms of the sound quality and in terms of the performance, we'll move on. The big thing is to just concentrate on the performance. When you're thinking about whether it sounds right, except for, of course, when you've got something like that delay, that takes you out of character. And it's really important. We've got a lot of scenes to do tomorrow. So we just need to focus and drive on, please. Okay.
Great.
All right. David, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this setup.
Oh, thank you. You're a brilliant director. It's such a pleasure to work with you.
That's really kind. And we've benefited so much from your expertise. Tayo, congratulations with your play. And we will convene again tomorrow and tackle the next part of it. And we'll have the joy of handing it over to Adrian to mix together. And good luck with your elections, David. That's what Tayo will touch base at some point tomorrow before the recording and just check through our thing. But I think it's worth resting today, resting on your laurels. You're always inspirational in terms of how you set up things and bringing people together. So let's just take that really positive energy and enjoy the day. Ours is literally into the evening, and yours, Davis, is to enjoy the rest of the day. So please do.
Thank you. Take care. See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thanks, David. Thank you.
Thank you, Tayo.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sean. Thanks.